My husband told me that he's in love with my sister. He's 33M, I'm 28F, and my sister is 32F. Growing up, my sister and I endured a tough life with a passive mother and an abusive stepfather. My sister was my protector and role model since none of the adults were there for us. She would often take on our stepfather's abuse when he got drunk to shield me from harm. When she went to college, she would let me stay in her bed while she slept on the floor whenever I managed to run away from home. By the time I turned 16, she let me move in with her permanently. We never saw our parents again. My husband shares many similarities with my sister. They are both calm, kind, and intelligent. They share the same sense of humor and love for music, books, movies, and games. It's almost as if I fell in love with the male version of my sister. Their strong bond was important to me because they are my only family. We got married a year ago after being together for 6 years, and I'm now 27 weeks pregnant with our first child. My sister met her boyfriend M30 a year ago. He got along very well with me and my husband, although I always felt that my husband never really liked the guy. When I asked him once why he didn't like him, he got flustered and told me that he didn't know it was noticeable and apologized. He told me he just didn't think he was good enough for her. My sister's boyfriend proposed to her last night. We were just having pizza and they were having beers on my sister's balcony when her boyfriend suddenly went down on one knee and took out a ring. She was very surprised but happy all the same and said yes. When we went back home, my husband was a little tipsy. He told me he wasn't tired and that he was going to take one more beer and watch TV and that I should go to bed. Later, I found him sitting in the living area crying. I asked him what was going on and he told me that he was in love with my sister. He said he has been for years but knew how wrong it was. He told me he loved me very much and promised to be a good husband and father to our daughter. He slept on the couch. He's still sleeping now. I'm shocked and full of anxiety. I don't know what to do or how to feel about this. Should I tell my sister? Nothing can be the same again, but she's my only family and my best friend. And my husband? Is this over? I have been so blind. Now I see everything. Of course he's in love with her. How could I be shocked now? Can I save this marriage? And my baby? I promised her a better life than the one I had. I promised her kind and loving parents. I can't let her come into this world with estranged parents and new people in their lives. What can I do? Update 1. He is awake now and I have spoken to him. He apologized for hurting me last night. He said he just felt despair, like he had lost something very beloved and important in his life and was mourning it. He told me he loved me very much and wanted this to work for us and the baby. I asked him if he loved her more than me, and he said it's just a different type of love. I asked him if he could choose between me or her, and he said he'd choose me. I asked him if he thought she was more beautiful, and he said that I'm conventionally more attractive. I asked him if he has stayed with me all these years to be near her. He said I was being unfair to him because he did love me. I asked him if he is okay never seeing her again. He teared up but then said he would do anything to save this marriage. He added that he never really had a mother or a female figure in his life. That's probably why he's attached to her, because she is very warm and loving. I asked him if he loves her as a mother figure or if he wants to sleep with her. He didn't want to answer. I asked him if he fantasized about her while sleeping with me. He refused to answer at first and then said, "Why are you doing this to yourself?" I asked him if he will lose interest in me if she's out of our lives and it's just us. He looked like he was thinking about this for the first time, and then he said that he chose me and our baby. He wants to start therapy and counseling because he thinks this marriage is salvageable. Update 2. We had dinner with my sister and her fiancé. My husband was unusually silent and didn't initiate any talk with my sister. He barely looked at her. It was a nice dinner. My sister is too happy with her engagement and upcoming trip to notice anything. Before she left, however, my husband hugged her longer than usual. He told her he was happy for her and wished her a great trip, all while hugging her. Then he held her hand and said, "I didn't congratulate you properly yesterday because I was drunk," and he congratulated her again. He was tearing up again. Then he hugged my sister's fiancé and congratulated him. He was silent on our way home. He told me he loved me when we got back and that he would do anything to make this work, but that I shouldn't make any decisions while hurt. We are starting couples therapy. I want him to be 100% honest. He asked me not to tell anyone about his confession because it meant nothing. I told him that I didn't want him around my sister anymore if I were to give him a chance. He asked me how this would work when we're always together. She will suspect something, and he doesn't want me to tell her because he's embarrassed. I told him he could just minimize his interactions with her. I told him to sleep on the couch again tonight because I haven't made up my mind about my next move yet, and until then, it's the couch for him. What an exhausting day. Update 3. I'm thankful for everyone who's reaching out asking for updates. I just don't think I have enough information to make a new post. But I have gone through all the comments and thank you. I asked my husband for a separation because I need to be on my own to make my decision. We are also starting marriage counseling. Whether we stay together or not, I want to know everything that he has been withholding from me. He thinks I'm torturing myself, but he's wrong. I'm tortured with half-truths. With counseling, I'm hoping to get to the bottom of his feelings in a safe environment. He cried when I told him that I wanted to separate. He told me he has lost everything in one day because of a drunk confession that meant nothing. He loves me and wants to be with me. He suggested that we move away. He has had job offers in other cities on several occasions. He said this could be our new start. We were renovating the basement this summer to make it a guest room because our current guest room is being turned into a baby room. He will live in the basement. It has a separate entrance and the mini kitchen is almost finished. I have decided not to tell my sister about any of this. This is my battle in my marriage. I love my sister so much, but I'll be very honest here. I resent her. I'm jealous of her and I think I have always been jealous of her. She's a way better person than I am. I hate that I never had the chance to return the favor as she's always been perfect and never needed help. I resent that she isn't as angry as I am about the injustice we had to endure. I hate that she's so good to me and my husband. I hate that he sees how much better of a person she is, and I hate that I don't blame him for loving her instead of me. Top comment. Grandma here? Don't fall for the sunken cost fallacy, please. You spent your youth with him. Do you want to spend your adult years and middle age with a guy who liked you at first enough to date, then met your sister and moved back to your area? Then fell in love. You see, she's the perfect one because he really never had a relationship with her, just a fantasy. I had beautiful sisters. I didn't have great self-esteem when I was young because of comparisons. But the one boundary I had with the men in my life was that they had to want me first and not my sisters. I never wanted to feel less than with my guy. I had enough of that in my family. So, my dear, your choices are therapy to allow you to live and thrive because I'm sure he'll suck it up and say he'll stay married to you because of the baby, etc. He'll say, yes, you're his wife, etc. Your decision will be whether you want to live your life knowing your courtship and marriage were not the truth for him. Can you trust him to change and realize that his love was a fantasy? Can you live with your sister, always thinking he's looking at her first and settling for you? Hard questions to answer that must be answered for you to have a happy life going forward. And most especially, your sister is not at fault. She really isn't.